Good morning, great Americans. It's another great American video from Kentucky. The date is July 9th, 2025. Recently I was in a forum and some woman said, of course, she was a Democrat suffering from TDS and all the mental incapacitation that comes along with that. And I'd mentioned to her a story on Breitbart, and she's like, "Oh, well, I don't take Breitbart seriously. Breitbart news is not real." And you know, I was thinking about that when I saw this article this morning. So this video is going to tie together several. It's just a small observation, but it's just a small example of the ongoing stupidity. This ties together several subjects that I've made several videos on, and I'm going to put links to all those videos in the description of this video. One of those videos is about fake news, and one of those video or several videos about illegal aliens and ICE, right, and all that kind of stuff. And this kind of ties into both of them. So this woman says, "No, I don't listen to Breitbart. Breitbart's not. I don't take Breitbart seriously." Really? Okay. So there's an article out on Breitbart, and this is the headline. It says, "ICE agents arrest 11 illegal alien sex offenders in Minneapolis." Okay. So I wish that woman was sitting right here next to me, because I would turn to her and I would say, "Okay, so here's your headline. ICE agents arrest 11 illegal alien sex offenders in Minneapolis." Now, the question is, did that really happen? Did ICE agents, in fact, arrest 11 illegal alien sex offenders in Minneapolis? Now, that's quite a definitive, factual headline. So, I think it's fair to assume that, yes, ICE agents did arrest 11 illegal alien sex offenders in Minneapolis. In fact, to go down into a little bit into more detail, ICE agents have arrested 11 illegal aliens. They were all convicted of sex crimes. Convicted, not just charged, but they were all convicted, which means that their alien status is known. They were all convicted of sex crimes, including some against children in Minneapolis, Minnesota region. Uh, so, so the first thing I would say to this woman is, okay, so this actually happened, and Breitbart is reporting a factual event that actually happened. So what's your problem? Well, what is there to not take seriously? 4.5 years ago, Breitbart reported that Biden had been elected president. Well, that's a bad example. Stolen elect. We're gonna skip that. Let me try a different example. um. Okay, so in November, Breitbart reported that Trump had been elected president. Now, was he elected president or not? If Breitbart reports there's a hurricane in Florida, was there a hurricane or not? What is it? What is there that you don't take seriously when Breitbart is reporting facts? But here's the real question. Here is the real question. Breitbart reports this actual event that happened, the arrest of 11 illegal alien sex offenders in Minneapolis. And the real question is, why doesn't CBS report that? Why doesn't CNN or MSNBC report that? Why doesn't ABC or the New York Times report it? Why don't they report that? That's the bigger question. Now, I mentioned that this video touches on several of my past subjects. One of them is being fake news. Fake news is a very insidious sort of thing. I mean, it's kind of funny. Trump is kind of funny, and he's funny when he brands stuff, fake news, it's a little funny, but it's also very dangerous and serious and insidious because there's much more to fake news than just telling a lie. Like, oh, Trump colluded with Russians. That's a lie, a blatant lie. As a matter of fact, Comey and Brennan, two of the architects of that lie, or two of the people who helped promote that lie and cause all the damage to Trump and America because of that lie, they are now being investigated by the DOJ. And good. I hope the two bastards go to jail. But that's another story. That's a fake. That's an obvious fake news. Trump colluded with Russia. Trump incited an insurrection. So these are obvious fake news lies. But the more insidious type of fake news comes in other ways. One of them is to simply not report the news. Okay? ICE arresting illegal alien sex offenders, some of them pedophiles, is not something that CNN or ABC wants to report because it goes against their political narrative. Now ICE is the good guys. They are throwing out the bad guys. And then it also begs the question, well, how did these illegal alien sex offenders get to be wandering around the streets of America in the first place? It's thanks to Democrats and Biden. See, a story like this opens a can of worms. Oh, ICE is the good guys. Oh, well, why are these people here in the first place? Oh, it's actually the Democrats' fault. So what does the fake news media do? CNN, MSNBC, and all of them? They simply don't report it. That's another form of fake news, which is just ignoring important news. So that's how this ties in with fake news. It's shining a light. It's there's an old there's a saying that you hear sometimes in movies and film and stuff, and you'll hear someone say, "Your silence speaks volumes." Yes, indeed it does. And the mainstream media is often silent on many things, which is a form of fake news. They simply don't inform the American people about things that rub against their narrative. And of course, their narrative is the Democrat Party narrative. Anything that makes the Democrat Party look bad, they don't report, or else they'll lie about it. In this case, they don't report it. So that's how this story that I'm telling you about, and this woman I'm telling you about, that's how it ties in with fake news. Well, how does it tie in with the whole illegal alien and ICE thing? Well, I think that's self-evident. We've got people out protesting ICE, and yet this is the good work that they're doing. They are deporting people in this country illegally, and many of these people are sex offenders. They either were pedophile sex offenders, or they offended women, or they attacked women. So where's the women on this story? Oh, ICE is getting rid of people who raped women. Where's all the women apply? Yay for ICE. Yay for ICE is out protecting women, rounding up rapists, throwing them out. No, you won't hear that, because these left-wing women's groups who don't give a shit about women, they only care about Democrat politics, it goes against the narrative. It makes their Democrat Party look bad. They would rather you never know about all of the women and girls raped and murdered by illegal aliens. They don't care, because it goes against their political narrative. And this also speaks to the recent protests. Again, how does it speak to it? Well, it's self-evident. It's a story about ICE, and ICE is out doing good work. So meanwhile, Meanwhile, while the left-wing idiots and morons in this country are calling ICE all kinds of names, calling them Nazis and calling them fascists, here's what they're doing. ICE agents arrest 11 illegal alien sex offenders in Minneapolis. Well, you won't see that on the NBC nightly news, will you? So, 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 so much of this, I made separate videos on some of these issues. Excuse me. And like I said, I'll put the links to those in the description of this video. But so many of these subjects they tie together and they intertwine. Fake news, illegal aliens, the whole bit. It all ties together. Why? Because this evil entity, I don't even know what you call it, sort of a loose cabal, or a loosely sort of semi related, but I mean, they don't actually coordinate. Well, actually, they do. Some news organizations and left wing Democrats do coordinate actually on a level. They have lists of who their favorite people is to go to and get news out of and all that stuff. But how this whole cabal of the globalist left, the extremist left in the Democrat Party, the fake news media, uh, and all this stuff ties together to present a narrative. And that's a narrative on this issue, ICE and illegal aliens, but it's also the narrative on so many other issues, whether it's Doge or Trump or the fake phony insurrection that never actually happened, or the fake phony Russia collusion that never actually happened. Um, you know, there's, men can get pregnant. What is a woman? Katanji Brown, the most ignorant moron ever to sit on a bridge. Well, I don't know what a woman is. I'm not a scientist. You know, transgenderism. And then there's the evils that they all collude on, like the sexualization of children in schools, uh, the mutilation of children's genitals and children's bodies in the name of transgenderism. I mean, all these different things they collude on. So all these things tie together. And I also, speaking of that, I also have a few videos on just how flat out evil the Democrat Party is. It is truly the party of evil. Evil. So, this is just a morning news on this thing. I mean, I saw this thing. It's just a blatant title. ICE agents arrest 11 illegal alien sex offenders in Minneapolis. And I thought of this woman who says, well, I don't take Breitbart seriously. And I'm like, what's not to take seriously? Either this happened or it didn't happen. The real question is why CNN and MSNBC don't run the same story. And so therefore, those are the people that you should not take seriously, right? It's just another example of the twisted, perverted minds of Democrats and leftists. They won't take Breitbart seriously, even though Breitbart is reporting factual events that happen. But they will take CNN seriously, even though CNN squashes the story and won't tell it. But CNN does tell stories that are blatant lies. How many lies? It's just, I don't know. Is this something like that? What's that syndrome where you have what do you call a hostage, and then they start to love they start to love their captors. What is that called? I forget, something syndrome, or how about the battered wife syndrome, where the wife still loves and defends and protects the husband that beats the shit out of her every day. I mean, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, they lie regularly to their viewers. And they're busted in so many of these huge, huge lies. And people still go to the trough to drink more of the Kool-Aid. What sort of idiot are you to 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 when you know that the biggest stories of the last, I don't know, 8 years, 7 years, or 8 years coming out of CNN and MSNBC and all that have been just blatant lies, and you still go to them for your news. And meanwhile, the outlets that are telling you the truth, like Fox and Newsmax and Breitbart, those are the ones you don't want to watch. You literally don't want the truth. It's just, left TDS, and again, funny, it's a humorous branding, Trump derangement, so, but it's true. These people suffer from a mental illness. They have no sense of reality. And we can see that. If you think that there are, 72 genders and gender is fluid, and you are whatever you think you are disconnected from reality. If you think that men get pregnant, you are disconnected from reality. If you think, and I'm even going to, and same with homosexuality, I'm sorry. It's been a long time since I touched on this, but I'm going to touch on it again. The most base, the most gut level, I don't know what the right word is, the most base instinct, the most inner core instinct that any species has, whether it's animal, fish, bird, whatever, is to perpetuate the species, procreation. As the old saying goes, the birds do it and the bees do it. Dogs do it, and deer legs sometimes. But the most base core instinct of all human beings, or of all species, is procreation. So, it is only logical, and it only stands to reason that if you are a man and you are repulsed by the idea of sex with a woman, or the other way around, you're a woman and you're repulsed by the idea of sex with a man, then that's abnormal. Something is not normal inside of you. Something that should be the most base core instinct in you is out of whack. You suffer from a mental disorder. But Democrats and liberals, they don't think so. And that's putting aside, I'm not even discussing the morality of it or the religion of it. I'm talking about none of that stuff. I'm talking about medical. And by the way, we could throw in as a footnote that is another sign, that's another proof that the sciences, important institutions in society like the sciences and law and all kinds of stuff, have become corrupt by politics. Scientists are people too, and they have been corrupted. And so for many years, the APA, the American Psychiatric or Psychological Association, I forget which one it is, APA, it's like the AMA, but it's the APA, listed same-sex attraction as a mental disorder. And then at one point, like in the 80s or the 90s, something like that, or was it the 70s? I don't know, or the 80s, they removed it as a mental disorder. Why? Was there some grand discovery? Did they see some super duper Something in a microscope? Did something come up on an X-ray? Was there some grand discovery? No, it was politics. It was all politics. That was the day, arguably, that the medical sciences were corrupted by politics. But anyway, I'm diving into a whole other. The point is, backing up a little bit. Sorry about that. I kind of went off on a backing up a little bit. The point is that Democrats and the left have no sense of reality. No sense of reality. When you've got a homosexual or a tranny saying right on for Hamas, when in fact, if they lived over there, they would be strung up and hung by Hamas. That's when you know you've got people that have no sense of reality. When a DEI, our very first DEI Supreme Court pick, and yes, Ketanji Brown was a DEI pick. Don't forget what Biden said when he was choosing someone for the Supreme Court. It was so racist. But again, the fake news, they cover up for him. He specifically said that his criteria, he needs to find a black woman. He never said, I'm going to find the most qualified person to make. He specifically said he was looking for a black woman. This is quintessential racism of the left and the Democrats. But the fake news, they don't care. And what happened when you got a DEI pick who is not qualified? She doesn't know what a woman is. She doesn't know what a woman is. I can tell you what a woman is. A man, damn, actually, I forgot. One of them has the X chromosomes and one of them has the extra chromosome. Oh, I forget which one is which. But a woman is a human being who has the correct mix of chromosomes and has female genitalia. That's what a woman is. Okay, I forget whether it was the X and the Y or just the X. I can't remember which one it is. But whichever one it is, a woman is the human being that has the correct balance of XY chromosome and has female genitalia. That's the simple answer. That's the simple answer. I mean, I'm just a high school graduate, man. I don't have years of college and sitting on the bench and wearing robes and sitting in front of Congress and the blah, 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 blah. I don't need that. I've got common sense. Plus, I'm not a lying sack of shit. But she couldn't answer it. Frankly, that should have disqualified her. You want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. And shame on every Republican who voted for that woman to go on the Supreme Court. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why right now. Because she knew the answer to that question. When she was sitting in the congressional hearing, she knew the answer. She knew the answer, but she refused to, and she lied. And she lied, and the reason she lied was for politics. She did not want to offend the politics of the Democrat base. That alone immediately should have disqualified her, because no Supreme Court justice is supposed to ever play politics in what they do, and that's all she does. Every one of her decisions, almost every one of her decisions, have been wrong, and not only wrong, but just stupid and ignorant. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, Democrats have no sense of reality. And so back to this thing about ICE and the illegal aliens and Breitbart not being. They Democrats don't want real news. They want fake news, because they live in a world. The only people who are left in the Democrat Party is what you call an ideologue. And I learned this word a while back from Bill O'Reilly, of all people. What is an ideologue? So everybody, we have ideologies and political ideologies and this and that. But a pragmatic person, when faced with reality, will bend and will shift a little bit. And they'll say, okay, like Trump, sometimes he'll move his position because when he comes up face to face with reality and realize that something is not working right or there's something better, he's willing to change. He's willing to listen and change, right? It kind of like Tulsi Gabbard or JFK or I mean, there's lists and lists of Democrats who are becoming Republicans at the federal level, state level, local level, because they're just like, take a guy like Bill Maher. Of course, now Bill Maher has not become a Republican, but at least he sees the crazy on the left, and he has enough honesty to admit this is crazy. You people are going to crazy town. I can't be part of it. So, an ideologue, though, is someone who, even if they see that a particular ideological idea or theory is proven wrong, even if they see that it's proven wrong and it doesn't work, they still stick with it. That's an ideologue who sticks with a theory and an ideology, even though it's been flat out proven to not work. Socialists. Let's take socialists like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders and that new moron asshat racist pig that I can't even pronounce his name, who's on track to become mayor in New York. He's a socialist. These guys are ideologues. Socialism is a proven failure. The Nazis were socialists, and don't tell me they weren't. It's baked into the name. The National Socialist German Workers' Party, Nazi. And let's remember what the name of the Soviet Union was. The complete actual name of the Soviet Union? The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the USSR. In the USSR, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. The commies are socialists, the Nazis are socialists. A lot of your left-wing dictators, tin horn, greasy-ass dictators in Southern America are socialists. And it's a failure. It is a failure. It is a proven failure over and over and over again, to different degrees. In some countries, it was an utter failure. In other countries, it was enough of the failure to destroy the economies and stuff. I mean, they barely hang on. They barely, but life is so rotten. It's pretty much a failure. But it's different degrees of failure, but a failure all the same. And still, ideologues who are blind to reality hang on to those failures, like Bernie Sanders and a lot of Democrats and this boob in New York. Boy, I'm so ashamed of New Yorkers. I always thought New Yorkers were supposed to be cool, right? Get out of here! I'm walking here. Guys up on the building, skyscrapers, building big buildings and whistling at the chicks walking by. And, you know, that used to be my image of a New Yorker. But apparently they're idiots and morons now. If you can elect someone like this asshole, oh, here's his name, Mamdani. If you could be stupid enough to elect Mamdani as your mayor, you're not even really an American. A socialist who we're not even going to go there. Anyway, I've dragged this video out too long. So the point is that all these things tie together. The ICE, the stories, the protests in the street, the fake news, the TDS, And this story here, which will be the first link in in the first link in the description of this video, is what set it all off. So read the story. It's good. ICE is doing good work. ICE agents arrest 11 illegal alien sex offenders in Minneapolis. Good for them. So ICE is basically removing the filth and the rapists that the Democrats and Biden allowed in. But you can't tell that to the protesters in the street. You can't tell that to that dopey moron mayor in LA. As far as they're concerned, ICE is the enemy. No, you're the enemy. The Democrats are the enemy. The left is the enemy. If you stand up for illegal aliens and you stand against federal law enforcement enforcing the law, then you are the enemy. ICE is not the enemy. You are the enemy. And with that thought, I will leave you with one other thought. It won't be long before the 2026 elections, and everybody who helped Trump get elected has to go out and double your efforts. Everything you did to help Trump get elected in 2024, you need to do twice as much, 3 times as much, because we have to deliver him a big fat majority in Congress so he can really get the work done that he got elected to do. So that stay the course. I'm going to put a link to that. We got to stay the course. Stand by Trump. Trust Trump. He is delivering for you, but we still have to deliver for him. That election in 2024 was only the beginning. It was just the beginning. Now the war to save America from the extremist left is in full battle mode, and I guarantee you, God only knows what sort of evil and nefarious plans the left has for these upcoming elections. There's going to be election theft and stealing like you've never seen. See, Trump had a machine in place. A lot of that never got reported on the news. The same election stealing that happened in 2020 was attempted in 2024. But Trump, thanks to his daughter Laura Trump in large part, they had created some organizations and they were out in full force, and they stopped a lot of it. None of that ever got on the news. That's a shame. But I can tell you right now that they'll be back at it again in 2026 for the midterms, and Trump won't be running, so Trump's Trump machine will not be out there. It will all be congressmen fending for themselves. And so God help it. So I'm telling you, man, you got to get out. Whatever you did to help Trump get elected, you have to quadruple your efforts in 2026 and then do even more in 2028 to elect a MAGA president who will continue Trump's agenda. So stay the course. Thank you for watching this video. Please click all the links in the description of the video, and I will see you in the next great American video. Adios, muchachos.